Okay. Okay, hi. I'm not exactly sure how this works with an audience, but I'm going to start sharing my screen. Why do I have to? Yeah, sorry, figuring it out. Okay, I'm going to 3 viewers. I think it's also possible to join the Hangout for up to 10 people. Okay, but okay, I'll go here. So the first thing I'm going to show is how to download data. I start a new layer, Control N. Then I can use a file download from Overpass API. So I can use file download from Overpass API, but I prefer to add a button. So if you go here to the toolbar, configure toolbar, you can do file download from Overpass API, and you can add that to this bar. So I did that previously, and now I have this button. What I usually still have to do is write what I want to look for, then build query. Then I only want route relations, and I have to increase the timeout 125 to 125. That's okay. This means all the relations and all their members, and all the members of the ways, also all the nodes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I started because it's already broadcasting. I doubt it. Giacomo.
Hi.
I don't think you met each other already, but yeah.
Hi, Giacomo.
Hi.
So I suppose more people will be joining. I don't know. I don't know if I made enough publicity either. Yeah. Anyway, I was explaining how to download data using Overpass API for a specific city somewhere in Germany, and then I'll do download. Okay, so now we have the data. One of the things that I did previously is this public transport map CSS style, which everybody can get by going here and then to public transport. There, press this, and then it comes over here, and then you take it. That was my first attempt at visualizing the data of OpenStreetMap. In the meantime, we have the public transport assistant plugin with a specific layer. So if I select one of these route relations, well, away, and then all the route relations that are there, I can select one relation. This is already at version 2. And then we find all the stops hopefully in order. Let's jump to the first one. And then you notice that the plugin is numbering them. Normally it's also indicating the route in purple, but sometimes it takes a while before it does that. So if you open Relation Editor, then normally it should also indicate the route relation in purple. Well, it will do that in a while, I guess. So the first stop, if I switch off my style, then you see 431.1, so that's the ref on the route, and this is the sequence number of the stop. There is 2, 3, 4, 5, and then apparently it passes here again, 6, and then it goes on. Now, this is the way that I like it to be mapped, the stops next to the way, but it's also possible, and that's how it's described on the wiki, to add the stop positions. And if you do that, the stop position should go first. For the numbering, it's a bit less convenient because then they overlap. So it's, if we zoom out, then we can still see 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. So for the numbering, it's a bit less nice. Maybe we should, in the plugin, maybe we should put it with an offset or something if it's a platform, and an offset in the other direction if it's a stop position. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so in this route relation, some stop positions are added and others aren't, which is not very consistent, but okay. This is our first way. What I did before is selecting it, and then you see it become red. And then, of course, if we see the ways in the router in the relation editor in red, we know that they're appearing twice. So this section is used 2 times, which is odd. Yeah, it starts here, it goes over there, and then for some reason it takes that street to pass. Okay, so this route relation already looks quite good, except here there is a problem after all. So let's jump there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is on this way, select all the route relations, do some validation. No, sorry, I need to select the relations and then do validation. Now the validation happens on the selection. And now we get some problems reported here. So there is a route, a gap that can be fixed by sorting. That's probably the one that we saw. So let's zoom to the problem. Oops, it zooms to the full relation. Yeah. Okay, let's try to fix this. Simply fix, and now it's gone. So hopefully we can open it with this button. I added that button by, again, configure toolbar, finding it here under tools, and here are some functionality that's added by the public transport assistant plugin, and so I can add them with this button, and I can add them where I want to have them. Okay, so why did it open too? Apparently we used 2 route relations recently. It seems to be fixed, right? This is odd. These are not the route relations that I was looking at. Okay, cancel. Oh, there is another one. Yeah, this is the route relation that we were looking at first. And these two ways that were flipped, that problem is now resolved. So this route relation is now fine. Okay. Then we have routes passes a one-way in the wrong direction. If we select this route relation and we do fix, an editor will open. And then if we go to this way, then we see that the route passes here and then goes there against the one-way flow traffic of this way. Which is odd. So we're going to download a bit more data there. Yeah, okay. So we can fix this by removing that way. Normally it's selected, so you can easily remove it. And then you can select these two ways and add them in. So another problem resolved. We can go and have a look at this route relation if it's okay. Seems to be. Yeah, that's the same route relation that we started on. Okay, good. So again, we do fix. We jump over to another problem over here. We download more data. We remove that way and we add this way. So for fixing these route relations, especially where the ways are concerned, it's already quite practical to use the public transport assistant plugin. This is another route relation. Apparently, it also goes against the flow here. But which way is that? The purple, for some reason, it's very light, and usually it's quite hard. Let's see. Yeah, this is the way before. That is that way. Okay, so this is a one way in one direction, and then here there is a one way in the other direction. That's odd. So let's download more data. How is that possible? Yeah, okay, so probably this is simply a mistake in this way. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to use R to reverse that way. Yes, and then I want to keep the. I don't want to apply the changes. So now this one is going in the right direction. There's one with a roll, but this is bicycle routes. So for the moment we're not actually working on those, but maybe it had to be backward after all. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. So the bus goes around. Yeah. Good. So we already fixed some problems. Let's see for another bus route. Fix. This is about the same way. So we can close that. If we used validation again, then it wouldn't be reported anymore. Then the route should start and end with a stop position. Let's zoom to the problem. Let's edit the route. Yeah, so this is the start of this route, and there is no stop position there at the beginning or the end. So what I'll do is I select this way. I use this button to remove that way from the route relation. It's very convenient, so it's gone now. I do this because I don't want to have a conflict. Also, I'm going to switch on some imagery. It's in Germany somewhere. Maybe this is good. Oops. No. Topograph is also not that. I have many. many image relators, but I don't want those. What's this? Maybe I'll simply have to switch on Bing. Digital globe. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to see is if there is some indication on the road, so you can make out where the bus would stop. But I don't see anything there. Let's try Bing. No. So then we simply do it in an arbitrary way. And there is this button. No, sorry. There is this map mode at stop position. And if you use that, then the stop position is added and the way is split directly. Now I do S and I select this way and I add it in front here. So now the route relation is starting on a stop position from there. And if I select everything here, yeah, so that's good. And then we have another route relation. Let's fix that too. It's going in. Yeah, so it's more. This is the end of this one, so I can select this way and I can add it in. What's this? That we don't want that. We don't need that way. The route is going over that way. I'll go up and check here if the line is continuous. Okay. So again, I'll try to fix. So I only have to add this stop position once, of course, but all the routes that are starting there have the same problem. So here it's for 31.1. So that's good. And this one is not in there. So that's also good. Let's check. So it all seems to be continuous. That's okay. And then we do it once more for this one, fix. This is another stop. So here it comes from the other side, apparently. So this way is not part of the route relation. It's not yellow here, so we don't have to remove it. Then we use this map mode to create stop positions and S, and then I select that way and I add it all the way to the end. Again, there is this way, which in this case 3940. So we don't want that way in that route relation. Okay, so those are fixed. If we do upload now, and then it will tell us that there are maybe more problems in the validator. There's some route relations that contain gaps, but apparently those are not. Here it says version 2. This is odd that public transport assistant didn't indicate. But anyway, let's zoom over here. It's that same problem. So here we see 8, 9, okay. So the route needs to use that way and not that way. So I'm going to remove it with this button. I can zoom over, I can go over there, but I don't even have to. So I remove it. And then I use this sort button, which is going to sort all the ways from there down. So again, we fixed another problem. Let's see here. Edit. again here, simply by splitting this way here, that created many problems. So if they would have had the plugin, they might have been alerted to it and fixed it before uploading. So again, we check the sequence 4, 5. So this way we want in, this way we want out. So we use that button, it's gone. Now we find the gap, we sort, and yet another one solved. Here, I don't get a fix button on that one. So let's see why that is. Edit. Again, the same way. Now it's the other direction, so 12, 13. So now we don't need that way, so we can simply delete it. Then here again, edit, same. Also 12, 13. So again, this way can go. So that's it. Let's try to upload. It's going to do a validation step and tell us that there are some more problems, but I'm not going to bother with those. Cannot fix everything. So I don't even know where I'm Paderborn. So PT Paderborn. Okay, upload. Universe. Yeah. If there are viewers who want to join the Hangout, it's possible for up to 10 people to be in the Hangout, and of course you can give comments if you like, or questions. Okay, so let's, yeah. So now I'm going to take away this layer, and I'm going to go to this layer that I downloaded before. If I switch on public transport, I get to see many routes. I also get for all the stops, I get the names. And this is an attempt that I made at having the lines, the line refs, but I can only do one with map CSS. Whereas if I open one of these, then the public transport plugin can do all of them, can make a list all of them for 31 as 30. Those are the lines that the stops, let's look at the stop. So for 31 and here as 30. So that's what this means. In map CSS, I can only get the reference of one of these route relations. Okay. Now it's also nicer, this purple, so you can actually see how the route goes through. There's a problem. So this one, actually, if that stop belongs to it, then it should have continued up to here. Here we can also see a shelter apparently. So let's add a stop position there. And then this way at the end. Yeah, okay, I know what's going on, sorry. What I did, I downloaded the same region twice. I'm going to take this one away and go and work somewhere else, because otherwise I'm going to get conflicts with my own edits, so that's not very nice. So let's jump to this layer. If I use 2, I jump to the downloaded data in that layer. This was in the Netherlands apparently. Okay. If you select something and then you zoom out and then you use 3, you jump straight back to your selection. It's a very convenient one. 8 and 9, I think. Here under view, you can see zoom to previous and zoom to next. If you, let's do that. If I do 8, currently it's depending, 9 means zoom to previous. So I can go back to where I was looking at before. So 8 and 9 are sometimes convenient as well, especially in combination with the to-do plugin. But maybe I'll show that later. So let's take a route tradition here. Here we find stops. Now I'm going to take away all this imagery. I think here in the Netherlands I have better imagery. 25 centimeters. That must be splendid. Let's see. Yeah. I thought it would be even better, but okay. It's actually not very good. Let's try Bing. There, Bing is quite sharp here. Anyway, what I see here is a shelter. So one of the things that I did is to reconfigure my building tools. Yeah, maybe I should say something about plugins in JOSM. Here you find the plugins, and then if buildings tools, this is one of the interesting ones. Of course, the public transport assistant, Tools 2 plugin, those are the interesting ones, and then to do version, to do plugin is also very convenient to have. If you install the buildings tools, then you go to data, set building size, then you find an advanced button there, and here you can give the tags that you want your buildings to get. And since I'm doing public transport so much, I put something for shelters there. So if I do B, I immediately get an instant shelter. One of the things I like to do is to reuse that node, but that's an oddity that I have, I guess. Anyway, on this side, we also see this shelter there. Now, what I usually do is put that node there, and then I use B like this. Now, if these streets are parallel, oh, what happened there? If I did Control Z. If I select this one, and this one is already in the right spot, and I do B, then I only have to do 2 clicks to get a building, so a rectangle that is lined out on that one. So if the street would be perfectly straight, then that makes a lot of sense. Here it seems okay. If these nodes are not correct, I use W, and then I put them where I want them. This is something that's mostly interesting to draw buildings. At the end, I use Q to make it square. Now, one thing that we see here is that this stop is blue. This means that it only has highway bus stop tag and no public transport tags. Let's have a look at this route. Here it says that this is public transport version 2. And I agree for these, but then they should be platform. But these 3, they should be. Okay, I'm going to show you the to-do plugin. So I go down here, I add them. So I selected the 3 that are not converted, that they don't have public transport tags yet. Yeah, let's do that first. So I zoom to the first one. Again, I find the shelter there. This node is still selected. What I want to do with it, what I'm checking out actually is if it's part of the highway or not. It's not. So I can add public transport platform. If I use Shift here, then I can add that tag. Now it's added there. And then if I double click on this one, then I get bus yes, public transport platform. So I added two tags by opening this dialog only once. Then I use mark. There again, add Shift, double click, and again mark. Now, if I use 8 at this point, I can jump back and forward. So that's where this 8 and 9 are really convenient if you're using the to-do plugin, and sometimes you're using it too fast and you want to go back. That there is no way to go back to something that's not there anymore. But since the zoom is remembered, you can use 8 and 9. So I do, this seems like a shelter too. So I do again B. There you go. Yeah. And again, this node is still selected, so I can do add, shift, double click, and bus yes is added, and public transport platform is added. Now, if I go back to our route relation, we see that these three that were having a blue icon first are now having a brown icon. If we select all of them, let's have a look if there are more. There are not more. If I select all of those and I remove them and I re-add them, they will not have a stop role. They get a platform role. That is public transport version 2 convention. What I'm going to do now is go to the first one and check if the order is correct. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This looks good. 10. Here, I would have mapped all these little streets in between separately, but I'm not going to bother at the moment. Okay, that looks good. For the other direction, so here we find many. What I'm going to do now is Control A, and I'm going to select all the members. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to find all the, in the selection, I want to find all the highway, this bus stop, which are child of route is bus. No, they're all children of route is bus. I want to know, I want to have the ones that are not part of a highway. So not child of highway in the selection. Start. So now I found all the highway bus stops. I should also have excluded all the public transport, all the ones that already had a public transport tag. What I'm going to do here is clear to-do list, add, and then I'm going to zoom. This zooming is actually, I can do it quickly. Well, mark. Actually, what I want to figure out, but I already know because I made my selection specifically for ones that are not part of a highway. But I'm going to check anyway. To check whether they're all next to the highway. Because I want to convert all of them to public transport platform. So that seems okay. Okay, so now we go back to the route relation. That's number 6. Well, normally I should check all of them, of course. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. Select all of them. Use my find. If I'm going to use this a lot, I can add toolbar button, and you see that I'm doing that quite often for specific searches. I'm not going to do it now. Start. Now what I'm interested in is to see if they're all green, and they are. So for all these that are selected at the moment, I can do add, shift, bus yes, double click public transport. You see that all the icons change, so that's good. Now I can remove all of these. I'm selecting them, or selecting them here, removing them, and then I'm going to add them in again there. There's only one that is part of this highway here. What I want to do, I'm going to download this whole station. So somebody already made platforms for the whole station, and they use this convention. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is Control D. Take away public transport stop position and add it as a platform. Add it here. And then what we saw in Germany, normally we would do it like that, but since this hasn't happened here, I'm not going to do that. Like this. Okay, so then we check the ways, whether they're continuous. And we have another stop that's part of the highway, but this one is already in, so we can simply remove this one. Okay, so that is that rat relation. Now I'm going to upload again, and before uploading, it's going to tell me if there are problems. Don't see any serious problems, so I'm going to upload 1731. Okay, so I changed many stop nodes. Upload. Oops, I should have changed that comment. I'm sorry. Yeah. So now I think we made that one better. Let's have a look at another one. This is version 2. All the platform nodes are in there, and they have a platform role. So somebody has already worked on this one. That seems good. Let's try to find something that is not public transport version 2. I think I have to add codes there. Yeah. So I want to find route relations that are not marked version 2. But I did something wrong because I do get a version 2. So in my data, I think I need another double quote there, another one there. Start. 35 relations. Let's take this one. Yeah. So this is obviously a route relation that is going to need quite a bit of work. Let's select all these ways. And then I do 3 to zoom to the selection. It's quite a long one. I'm checking because I don't want to. Yeah, the stops seem to be there, so I think we can do conversion on this one. So now I have all the members selected. The first thing I'm going to do is turn it into a version 2. And this means that I am going to have a from and a to, but I'm going to do that later. It also should have a decent name. Well, a name that is actually saying something. But let's first close it. In our selection, we look for all the highway bus stop nodes. And then for all those, edit. So what I have now, not exactly apparently. Yeah. So I'm going to select everything again. Okay, and then in the selection, I think I have it here somewhere. In the selection, I want all the highway bus stop, but I actually want some more. So I do control find, and I also or public transport. And then I have to put the brackets around it. So to group the or. And now again, I go to Route 16, edit. Okay, so now in this route relation, I have all the stops and the platforms selected. Oddly, I'm going to remove them, but I'm going to add them back here on top. Okay. Okay, we put public transport version 2 there. What I want to know is where is it coming from? Le Courriere. So I'm going to say from Le Courriere to where are we going? To Place Winston Churchill. And here, this one. So it's actually this one. So if I take the name here, Control C, I can add it easily there. Okay, so this is actually CCL 16, and then it goes from Le Courriere to Winston Churchill. I save this, and now I'm going to duplicate this because in version 2 we're going to have one route relations for each direction. So this from, I change it to 2. The 2, I change it to from. And then here, Le Courriere, the keyboard. And here in the name, I'm not going to include KC, but in the from, I'm going to keep that. So I'm going to save this one. Actually, I'm going to close it. What I sometimes do is use a bogus tag that's going to be removed and to do there. So I know I still have to work on that one. Le Courriere plus, yeah, so here I was in the name of the route. I'm going to drop that part. Okay, so now we find the first node. I'm going to download some more data here, and I hope there. That's what I hoped for. So this is my first platform. This one is not part of the route relation, but it is the stop position. So I'm going to split away there. But before I split, I'm going to remove it from the route relation. I could go and have a look where it is, but I can simply reuse this button to remove it. Now I select this one, and then I do P. Okay, and this is going to be my first way. Since I have the first way now, I can do a sort all the way down but it still looks ugly, of course. Okay, so that's the first one. I already know that I'm not going to be using these ways, so I can easily remove those. Okay. 1646. I also know that, yeah, I think I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to first remove everything that I know that is for the opposite direction. So I select all that here. It will make things a little bit easier to work. I'm going to use Shift. Yeah, sorry for all the zooming in and out. This one I don't need. This this is not good. It should be split, but I'm going to remove it completely first. This also. Uh-oh, these ways need to be split there, but okay. So I'm selecting everything that is obviously not part of this route. So I can throw all that out in one go. Here we need to download some more data because the roundabout is not complete. Okay. I'm not going to bother adding anything yet because I want to keep my selection. Sorry, I'm doing this wrong. This should be that one that's going. Yeah. So they stay in. Go out. Yeah, it takes a while to get rid of everything that's not part of this route. Yeah, we're at the end. So it arrives here, so we don't use these ways. So now we see that we have a selection here, all the green ones. By using this button, they'll go out in one go, so that's convenient. Okay, these are not important. They will be sorted away. If I now sort all the ways here, oops, that didn't do what I expected. Well, it's already a bit more continuous, but not quite there yet. Now, what is odd here? Still have a lot of stops. Yeah, so let's jump to the first one again. Okay. That is odd that there is a platform there, but a stop position here. That's weird. But anyway, actually I think, oh, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's, oh, this is already split, so these ways can go as well. Yeah. So now I'm going to try and remove all the, no, actually I'm going to try to order all the stops. This one, I don't need it. This is the second one. I would prefer to get rid of all the stop positions. And of course, there is about an easier way to do that. But okay, let's see number 3. So what happens here is that everything is there twice. For me, that makes life even harder. So I'm going to get rid of all those stop positions, I think. So again, I select I select everything. I close the route relation and then I do find. And this time I want to find everything that is stop position. And then I'm opening the route again. Yeah, now since I renamed it, it's all the way at the end probably. There, STCL. So now all the stops are selected, and since I don't like them, I'm removing them to make the sorting here a little bit easier. I'll get to the roundabouts later on. So now we are here. I select the one that's following there. 5 is already good. 6 is already okay. So that is Fournier. So I select the one that follows. I select this one here, and then I know that I can simply flip. This is a very long stretch to go without stops, but yeah, maybe it is that way. No, I already had it, so I added it, but I'm going to remove it there. I could have flipped the. What I was looking at here is that there is actually also a bus stop with a shelter there. So then I can improve the data a little bit. Okay, the next one. Yeah, this one also has a shelter. So yeah. Normally I would also add all those shelters, but I'm not going to do that now. Here, something odd is, there's Acolas. Okay, Acola. Okay. Yeah, we're going to simply concentrate on the stops at the moment, and not bother with the ways. For removing, I think it was good to remove as many as possible. So was this 12, 13? Yeah. And then after shampoo, yeah. So I already selected the next one here, so I can easily flip that again. 27. Yeah, so now we have to go here to 8. That is odd that it is 8, so I made a mistake. 16, okay. Benoit, okay, next one. So 14, 16, I made another mistake somewhere. Yeah, it will become apparent, I guess. So 18, Moulin Rouge. Yeah. If I save in between, then the numbering is updated. So 12, 13, 14. I'm So after 14, there, these should move up. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so the next one here is this. I'm constantly flipping them over. So maybe I should shift, but 20, 21, 21, 22, 23. Okay, next one. 25, 26, 27. So now the stops are ordered correctly normally. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so then we go here, we sort the ways, and we find the first gap. Oh, yeah. So apparently, okay, this roundabout is not split in the most optimal way, I would say. So let's use the P button there to split this way. But then this doesn't make a lot of sense. Now I have two ways selected. I'm going to do Control H because I want to, there is only one way that has history, so I can combine. I'm going to cancel. So I'm going to make sure that this one is saved. And then I'm going to combine. I'm going to close my route relation. Oops, cancel. Okay. C for combine. And then, I don't know. Let's keep this. And then the 16 remove. Okay. And the 16 remove too. Okay. Normally this one should bring me back. Oh, it's giving me all the relation editors. Okay. Whoops, what's going on? Well, there's many relation editors. Let's close all of them. Not sure what happened. Actually, it opened every relation, every route relation that's in the data, apparently. Yeah. Okay, so let's select this way, and then our 16. This is apparently the other 16. Yeah, that's the other one. Okay, so let's select this way, and then this 16, and this way. Apparently, we removed it. Okay, so we sort, and then we go to this roundabout. In the plugin, there is a roundabout still in development, so I'm not sure if it's going to work. But if let's try. I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to use this one to make it round. Yes, that looks good. I'm going to do the same on this roundabout. So what it's doing is many things at once. Maybe I'm going to do it manually on this one. So if I go to the route relation, I remove this one. Then I download, well, I have a search function which is going to look for all the nodes that are part of the roundabout and a connecting way. Then I'm going to download more data. Now I'm going to split. And what I can do is use Control Alt to make it a little bit bigger. And then I can move it if I feel the need. Okay. What I can also do is S, make sure nothing is selected, and X, add some nodes. And now I'm going to select the roundabout again. And then I use O. And now the nodes are nicely distributed. It became fully round. It's not quite there yet, but we have some problems if you want. So this one should be more over there. And this one should be more over there. Okay, so I select the roundabout once more, and then I do O to distribute the nodes. Still a bit odd. But anyway, that's more or less what the code does. But now I'm doing also a little bit more manual work as well. Oops. There is this land use that's crossing here, which shouldn't be connected to those ways. I think that doesn't make a lot of sense, especially since it's not sharing those nodes. So now this land use looks odd, but well, let's not dwell on that too much. Okay, so that looks good, I think. And then, of course, since it's now split, I can add the correct part of the roundabout. I zoom to the next gap. I don't want these ways, so I remove them. And then I sort the route relation again. I still have a gap because for some strange reason, people are not splitting there. Okay. Again, apparently I didn't remove all the ways that could be removed. I save, I sort, and it becomes more continuous. Zoom to gap again. Here, this fork is not split. There, P. And yeah, okay. So this way should also be removed from the relation. And then I split there too. Again, I can sort, still not quite there yet. Why not? Okay, I have bigger problems. No, I'm doing it wrong. This way should not be part of the relation. It's these two ways that should be. Okay, so sort it again. Add split with the P button. Add again, and this one needs to be split too. Okay, again, sort it a little by little. We get the route relation corrected. Here, this part here, this one from here up to here, is in our route relation twice, so only these two ways actually. So you have to add them, and now it becomes continuous immediately. And if I don't have them selected, they become red to indicate that they're in the relation twice. So this can happen if you have a spoon like that. Also, what we need to check is the order of these ways. If there is a one-way street here, then the public transfer plugin will tell us about that these are now not in the correct order. But if there's not a one-way street here, then I don't think it has a real way to figure that out. Zoom. So we're here. Here we need to download some more data. We have another roundabout. Let's split it manually. So I added, if I do Control F, I added something that's going to find junction roundabout in the view, or sometimes they're not actually roundabouts. Okay, this is a simple version. So this one only works on roundabouts. So it finds the way of the roundabout, and it finds also all the nodes that are members of two ways, which are children of a way that's a junction roundabout. Anyway, what it does is it finds the roundabout and it finds these two nodes because they're but it also finds these nodes, which in this case I didn't want. So usually I download, no, so usually I use that search function first and then I download. But in this case, this didn't work because the roundabout was not there at all. Now I can do P and then add that way. This is not centered very well. Since I'm moving the nodes anyway, which by using O, I can just as well go all the way and since I'm moving them already, while distributing them to get this roundabout round, I can just do everything at once, I guess. So now again, I select the roundabout, I do O to distribute the nodes, and they will all move. They will all change position a bit. So I can just as well move the roundabout and make sure it's centered properly. And then these nodes as well. Takes a while, a few iterations, but then I think I quite like the result in the end. So it's not only about fixing the bus route relations, it's also about fixing the geometry where possible. P. So I split this one. I go here, I sort all the ways. I still have a problem there. So this one doesn't belong. Here I have a problem like before. It's not part of the route relation because they're not green or yellow. So no problem. I don't have to remove them from the route. I can do P to split, and then now it becomes going to close it. I'm going to combine, and it's only undecided for this one, so I'm going to remove it from that one there. So now I again do this, add it, and it becomes continuous. But there is a problem. So we go here like this, okay, but on this roundabout, we shouldn't have gone around that way. So I remove all those and I add. I can use Control to unselect that one. So I selected it, I split it, and then I used Control to remove that one from the selection. Okay, we go on. This and that is not part of the route relation. This needs to be split. That one too. Now I can add that way and that way. Doesn't really matter that the order is not correct because I'm going to use this button to sort and then the order becomes correct. Zoom to gap, okay. And these are these three ways that are here. So we remove those as well. So now we have converted a route from version 1 to version 2. But we're not quite there yet. I'm going to select all these stops except for the last one and the first one. We're done with this one, so that's good. But then I'm going to find the other route relation, this one. All these stops, I know that I'm not going to be needing them, so I can remove those immediately. That's good. And then I'm going to select all these. I'm going to use my previous selected yeah, okay. So what I should have done is stop position. So in the selection, I'm going to position, start, and I'm opening this one again. So this way I can remove all those stops. Okay. Then this one is the first. So again, I need to sort all those. But this is the quick way of getting rid of all the stops, the platforms for the opposite direction. Again, maybe it makes sense. Now I don't have to follow the whole route. There. So this is also the first way. I can flip them all with this one, and then I sort them all. So I get something that's already rather continuous. I think I'm not going to be sorting all these platforms again, so it's always the same. And maybe we can come up with a way to sort them automatically on condition that the route gets that we can have, if we have a continuous route, then it should be possible to detect the stops, the platforms. And since we're following the route, we should be able to figure out the order. So then that doesn't have to be done manually anymore. So then the biggest is in removing the ones that don't belong. Here we have another problem because something odd is happening here. This is one way going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to download some more data here. What is that? So I'm going to first remove the ones that I know are not part of it. So this and this needs to go too. And then probably the bus is doing that. So I simply add these ways there. Not sure what's going on here. But if the bus is going over there, then we will need this service way. So I'm simply going to add it. In this instance, the order is not important yet. Simply add it. These can go too. Sometimes I remove all of them if there are not too many, but sometimes I simply break the connection so the sorting will follow the correct way. Oops. What did I do there? I did something silly. So I have them selected so I can easily remove them with this button. I had to remove them, not add them. Here too. Remove. So I want to add them to this selection, and then I want to remove them from the route relation. This one I want to add it to. Remove it. These ways we will need them twice. Maybe it makes sense to try to create a route up to this point, so everything is continuous, and then we arrive here. Are we already beyond the point? I think so. Yeah. So these have to go too. Ah, yeah, okay. So here since we added these ways, it did that automatically. So that's quite nice. The only thing here is that these 3 ways should be flipped. And yeah, so the sorting gets that wrong, but it's impossible to, well, it's a 50% chance to get it right, of course. If there would be a one-way there, then it would be easier to determine the direction. Now it would depend on the position of the stops, which I think is harder to use as a parameter to decide on. Anyway, we can go up over here. We can sort again. We can zoom to the gap. We don't need these 2. We can zoom again to the gap. Where are we here? We're already at the end. So this and that and that and that can go. There is only one little problem here, and that is that this stop is now on the wrong side of the road. This is our stop. So this is the last stop. Le Courrier. Okay, and actually that's good here. So if I split the way there, I can simply add that way, and now I'm going to see what these are. That one can go. This have to stay. These have to go out. So we remove them. And we sort again. Oops. Why is it doing that? Normally if I sort it, okay, then we zoom to the gap. These need to go too. Again, I sort it. Yeah, so now it looks continuous. So now we, that one. Since it's ODBL and that's a tag that's removed automatically, it doesn't matter, but I can clean it up there. It's going to be cleaned up automatically. Of course, before I can upload, I need to make sure that these stops are in the correct order, but I'm not going to do that now. I showed quite a few things already, so I think it's time to stop, I guess. Let's see. So maybe if there are questions, please join the Hangout. Let's see. Where do I see? There are only 2 viewers, so only everybody left. Yeah, so I'm going to stop the Hangout, I think, or at least stop the broadcast.